Mike. All right. We have our guest for today, Trez Mala. We are going to be talking all types of things. He's a stand-up comedian, ring announcer, tour guide, fellow longtime conspiracy theorist. Thanks for coming on, bro.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, guys. It's a pleasure to talk to like-minded folks.
Always.
Yeah.
Well, I guess for those who aren't familiar with you, and we're kind of getting to know you right here, right now, too. What got you into either announcing or stand up or, like you said off air, talking into a microphone?
Uh, I had it's kind of weird. For some reason, I was somehow never afraid to talk in front of crowds, in front of people. Um, I do know the kind of the origins of where that happened. My grandfather was a deputy probation officer, so he worked in the camps with the boys, before prison, but they couldn't be. They're in that in between 16, 17, going into adult stuff. So they had these camps, and my grandfather was a director, and so every Thanksgiving we would go up when I was a kid, little guy. We would go up to the camp. We'd spend Thanksgiving together up there, eat with all the people, all the convicts, I guess. And he would always go up on stage and do this big talk. And my grandpa was a, juvenile delinquent himself. And so he really felt like he was helping out the kids and he was on the level. So they had a ton of respect for him. And he would take me up on stage and he was, talking. And one year, um, he was like making fun of me when I was on stage and he was getting laughs. And I just remember going, oh, he gave me the microphone. He goes, "What do you think, Spike?" That was my name as a kid. He'd call me Spike, And I just go, "Oh, don't listen to him. This is my bald-headed grandpa." And the whole place, I mean, it's probably like 500, guys just roared, just, I mean, all in unison. And I like looked at that and I was like, I don't know what just happened, but I'm hooked. So I've never had a problem like talking in front of a crowd after that because like I knew like I don't know that something magic happened right there for me. And then I was influenced by a few other people as far as comedy, but I didn't look at it as comedy. I looked at it as a way of like communicating. I looked at it as a way of like, this is how you have to talk. This is how you have to express yourself, the facial expressions or whatever. And it was comedians that I looked at that, you know. And so my whole life, I've always had people be like, oh, you're a comedian. Or, oh, you should be a comedian. Or usually if I'm getting in trouble, it's, oh, we got a comedian over here, that kind of thing. So after hearing that so many times, a guy came up to me one time. He's like, dude, I'm going to an open mic. I was working. I was 21 or 20. And he goes, I'm going to an open mic. He goes, you should come with me, And I go, what's that? And he goes, it's where comedians get started. And I go, what? He goes, yeah, they got a bar, they got a microphone. Usually there's people there. You get to tell jokes and you kind of figure it out. I go, you don't have to have an agent. You go, you got to build up to that, stupid. I was like, I didn't had no idea about anything. So I went up and just, bombed until it started working. you know, Here we are over 20 years of still telling jokes. I'm like a sewing machine. The needle's going up and down, but nothing's happening. So, but you know, I like doing it. But that led me into the truth, comedy. There's truth in comedy, and the thing about comedy is like I can't get into comedy that has like false information or you know here's the thing that turned me off, and I used to really like Bill Burr, but during the whole shutdown, he was just like pro mask and pro all this stuff, and I was like, bro, you read like you are an intellectual, you are a smart dude, you know how to scan the room, and I go, and you're buying this bullshit. Checked out. You know what I mean? Like I can't follow anybody or anything or pay attention to it if it's not like if it's not based in reality, if it's not like the real thing, you know what I mean? If it's not fact. So it's like mainstream comedy for me was like really rough because I'm watching people just recite shit from the news, and I'm like, that's all bullshit. Like, but then they get laughs and they move up, because they're playing in that game. And you know, I notice one thing that like I go in these rooms and do really well as far as comedy, but I don't get booked or rebooked unless I'm like with a certain comedian or crowd or something like that. But I do notice that like all the people that get booked in these clubs, their social media, they don't say shit. They don't say anything. Pardon me, I'm allowed to cuss, right?
Of
I
course.
Oh,
figured you
please,
probably
yeah.
done. I've probably done it like a million times already, and now I'm
It's
worried
all
about this
good.
one. But they don't say anything. They don't have their that or their like total milk toast about it. And it's funny is when people meet me, they're like, "Oh, dude, you're a lot more chill than your social media." I go, "What do you mean? My social media is fine, dude. It's chill. Like, just put down facts. I am a little bit more harsh on the like the Democrats, but I'm a political atheist. You know what I mean? I grew up in my house. There was a Republican and a Democrat, and they're both like, "You vote for whoever lowers your taxes." They're both, and then I had people I was mentored by coming up, and they're like, "What do you want? The mumps or the measles when it comes to politics?" So that's always been my take on it.
Can I
And
ask you a
then,
question?
yeah, far away.
I've always fancied myself a big stand-up comedy fan too. In the seventh grade, I watched George Carlin's Live in New York stand-up. It was 1993, and boy, was I hooked. So, my question to you is, well, Carlin seems like a guy that was way ahead of his time too, right? You could watch his shit from the 90s, and it's like it's exactly what's going on now. And then you mentioned some of your uh, comedian idols, and I was wondering just who were some of your comedian idols when you were younger, kind of growing up?
For stand-up comedy, right off the bat, Richard Jeni. Richard
Oh, he was
Jeni.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, he that's how I thought you had to talk. That's how I thought you had to like speak and present yourself, do act outs and stuff. You know, um, I really thought the world of that guy. It's really sad how he ended. But other stand-ups, I heard one of the very first comedy. My grandpa had tapes, but was Red Fox, and it was in
Oh,
Vegas, and it was I all I remember was he was a motherfucker, motherfucker, just dropping, just cussing, calling a chick a bitch and a cunt and da da da, and people were laughing, and I'm like, you can say that and not get in trouble. I'm like, listen to this. So that like opened my mind up. But I liked Bill Hicks when I was a kid, and I just liked him because he was angry. I mean, he was talking about stuff that was over my head. You know what I mean? And but I liked him because he would like he could just go from hot to cold in a second. But one of my biggest influences is there's two, and they're not comedians. Uh, and I mean in everything in my life, but Benny Hill. I'm a huge Benny Hill guy. That guy was, if you want to talk about a creative genius, he wrote everything. He wrote the music, he directed, he produced, he was a bit of he's probably on the spectrum and shit, but he did everything, and he was really loyal to his crew and his people. And also like the audience, like the audience wasn't necessarily the same, but he knew the audience. So if someone was in there recording and he didn't recognize the face, he'd be like, I hate to be a bother, but you know, you got to go. And I admire that. But Benny Hill was and still a huge influence in how I just view the world in comedy. And then the singer from Mr. Bungle, Mike Patton.
oh
Um,
my God, Faith No More too. Yep, one of the best.
yeah,
Fucking creative genius.
yeah. I mean that guy and his whole band from Bungle and Faith No More, all the branches and stuff that went out, all the creative stuff, um, really opened me up to a lot of things. And that guy to me, I really like what he did because he had a band, he had this group, and then he got in this one group and went crazy mainstream success. And then he was just like, yeah, no, I'm back down in the creative zone. And he tried to bring all his people up, and he did a lot. But that dude wasn't afraid of anything. So I was like, if this guy is able to do this, why can't I do it with, you know, how I think and feel, you know. So but there's a lot more to comedy than it is as far as working with a group. I mean, there's a lot of dynamics, but it's a it's a tough it's a tough gig, dude. It's a lot of shit to wade through, you know.
I'm sure. And something that I had wanted to, bring up in this episode, and you already kind of touched on it, that being a comedian led you to the truth. And I'm thinking, tell me if I'm right or wrong. Being on stage and, like manipulating the crowd and like, influencing them to laugh or like get their, you know, opinion on a thing. Did that kind of being able to do that as the comic on stage, did that give you kind of like a perspective to see how politics and other stuff and other people could manipulate the masses like pro wrestling or comedy style? Is that what
Oh
kind
yeah. Dude, 100%. I'm a huge wrestling fan. I'm not like numbers and statistics. Da, da, da. I just like I look at comedy. Oh, and another thing that I'm really into, I fucking love televangelists. I love the I love the big, because you talk about sorcery or a craft of
for real?
owning a crowd, manipulating a crowd, and da 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 da. I mean, masters, and it unfortunately I think they are using it for evil, you know what I
For
mean?
sure.
But in a lot of sense, I can't really say, but from the looks of it, from what the people are driving up in, and from what the pastor's driving up in or whatnot. But I always look at of I'm a Virgo, and one of the things that I've always been able to do is get a good read on a room. I improvise a lot of my comedy, based off the room and interaction and stuff. But I'm able to kind of get a read for the room and stuff. But I've also am able to hear things that are uh, stuff that's being said. I'm able to hear the other thing that's being said. And that's really helped me out, like in understanding politics and stuff. And then when you look at it, when you look at like politics as Gerald Celente, I think he's the one that quoted it, is showbiz for ugly people, right? And you get into it is all just like professional wrestling, where behind closed doors and in steakhouses, they're or at their kids' lacrosse games or whatever they're doing at their private schools and shit. They're talking, or their little eyes wide shut parties and shit, but they're doing stuff behind the curtains, and then in front of one another they're over there like acting like they're chasing around like Tom and Jerry, so um but I see all the bullshit, and I can't say I've read everything because I haven't, but I've read enough, and then I have my own personal experience and just my intuition to be able to look and see things and just be like, this is bullshit. You know what I mean? Like I'm lucky. I was from an era that I was raised to think for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, and then I also, I grew up around a lot of gangs, around a lot of hustling and thieves and backstabbers and all sorts of shit. So just taking that and just looking at the world, it's just like one of those things. So many stuff has just been proven wrong in our lives, and one of the ones, like when it comes to 9/11, people would be like, "Oh, people can't keep those kind of secrets. People can't keep." Motherfuckers keep secrets, dude, to the grave. Okay, people keep secrets. You know how many chicks were around, all right, that have a fucking kid by another dude, and another dude's raising it thinking that's his kid. I mean, dude, it is ridiculous. And they will even go down being caught acting like that shit. I mean, I see this stuff all the time on these little court clips and stuff, dude, where the paternity test come up, but you see it all across the board. That bitch is keeping her mouth shut, and that other dude is keeping his mouth shut. You know what I'm saying? So, but it can happen. Like I tell you what, man, it's like if you find that bag of that bag of all that money, in the desert, they're like, what are you gonna do first? And everybody's like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I go, the fucking right answer is what money? You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's that's how you got to treat it. What fucking money, dude? That's it. So, that's how I look at it. Like through the lens that I have, and looking into comedy, or I'm looking into politics and stuff. especially as a comedic, as a comic, you know, it's a bit like a magician. You're looking for the angle, you're looking where the sleight of hand is, you know, and it's in words, it's in, uh, you know, it's an expression. And one of the things is that everybody should learn is be familiar with is the book Rules for Radicals by Saul Alinsky, and it's the handbook for the Democrats. And basically, the number one thing that they do, and it's right out there, is you blame your opponent for what you're actively doing. Right. So as there's right now, as we're looking at this whole thing with Trump's a dictator, he doesn't want to get out of office, he doesn't want to do this, he wants to silence his political opponents, he wants to do all that. And what are the Democrats doing? Right. Oh, he's going to crash the economy and start World War III. What are they doing? You know? So
Yeah, we see a lot of that. Blaming
yeah, and
his admission of
yeah,
guilt.
yeah, and you know, Trump has his hand in that inflation bit with that whole signing off all the money checks for the COVID. You know, I mean, what are you gonna do when you dump what $7 trillion into the economy? You know, you see what is going on in Venezuela right now?
No, what is it?
They're dumping their cash. They
Huh.
got it's like Weimar Republic. They're showing people trash bins, people just chucking their bills in there like fuck it.
What are they
Like it
gonna do?
means
Make
nothing
their own?
now. Who knows, dude? I mean, they've been talking about those people been eating their damn fucking zoo animals and shit, dude.
They just want to usher in the world currency, the world digital currency. You know, that's coming sooner than later, and it's gonna be a fucking that's it. You know, it's not
Yeah,
good.
they're trying. They're pushing on it on every angle, you know, and they're you know they're everything's all in a concerted effort. Um, what did uh, what did that fucking creep dude? That Klaus Schwab, he was going to be a like a poly attack or something, a poly something meaning many levels of from financial to weather to power grid, you know, all sorts of stuff just happening at once. And then here we are. It's like a big crescendo building up to it, you know?
Yeah, it's hilarious. I think that one of the funnier things was during the pandemic, the national coin shortage. The coin shortage. That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. How ridiculous is that? Yeah. Trying to get away from the whole cash thing, you know, and I heard that the big thing, a lot of people were complaining at the Olympics, not only about the migration stuff and the violence and all that, but it was they went trying to go cashless with everything. A lot of people were like, "Fuck this," and they left. They bailed on the Olympics just because they made it like impossible, you know. Majority of people don't want to go cashless. So I thought that was beautiful. It's not really talked about on the news, but you know, neither are the riots in Britain up against the Muslims and the Brits. You know, where you can say Christians, I guess, but they got some hometown violence going on right
Yeah,
now,
I have
dude.
been seeing some of that.
Yeah,
There's
And
yeah,
the Olympics are
all by
letting dudes
design.
punch women too.
What's that?
The Olympics are letting dudes, full-grown men, punch women in the face too. So that's a kind of a
Oh
reason not to
yeah,
like them too.
yeah, and do you see like there's so much there's so I'm one of my buddies is Sam Tripoli. I don't know if you guys familiar from Tinfoil Hat.
yeah.
Uh yeah. So you know, I was listening to one of his episodes, and this is something that me and him talked about quite a while, is what's going on right now is they're throwing out so much stuff from both sides, right, on the same thing. So it's like people within our community, the conspiracy community, whatever, the people who question things. Um, there's so much stuff going on. So like we have this boxer girl, right? We got this guy, girl, right? So I mean, fails a gender test, fails a testosterone test, but then they show pictures of her dressed as a kid or a girl as a child, you know, really young. And then there's like all this back and forth and stuff. So it's like we really don't know, but then it's coming out. It was like, no, dude, that didn't pass the test. It's a dude, you know, and it's carried its way all the way to the finals, right? They're supposed to, and it's
Surprising.
two dudes who are fighting, right? That for the female championship. So
Who
like,
saw that coming, right?
yeah, in the Olympics too, right? Uh, I
What
could
the
see
fuck is
that,
a
like
gender
some,
test too? All right, pull down your pants. Do you got a dick? No? Okay.
I guess, but then they have pictures. They have pictures
You
of the
failed the
supposed
gender
girl,
test.
but the girl wearing a male cup and multiple different
Fuck.
pictures in training and stuff. And it was like, and it shows against females, they don't have the same protective gear. You know, there's a belt that goes around their belly, but they don't have that, or their midline, but they don't have that big they don't have that big coconut unit in the front. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just more of a, I don't know. You know that little, I equate it to, you know, that little rubber bumper that you can buy on the infomercials that you put between the stove and the counter. That's what they got going up the front right there. It's about a little strip, you know. Keep all the trash out.
There was a female groin shot in one of the last UFCs where they stopped the fight because the girl got kicked in the crotch. I was like, I've never seen that before.
It's gotta hurt.
I'm
I
sure.
mean, if you think about it, I mean, I've you know, I've slapped my wang on some, on the girls, like, ow, damn, like, damn it. I'm like, oh, I thought, I watch the pornos. They do a lot. They put baseball bats in them things, dude. What are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, just stomping a mud hole in that deal. You know, that's the thing, real quick. Just a little side note. I hate it when I hear comedians, they all do the same joke, especially if they have a daughter. They're like, I want my daughter to be lesbian. Da, da, da. And I'm like, do you know how much domestic violence that they have? I go, and have you seen lesbian porn? You see what they do to each other? I go, some guy, unless he's got a damn table leg for a dick, ain't doing shit compared to what the foot stomping that they do in those lesbian porns, you
You ain't
know?
wrong.
So, you know what I mean? Like, you might want to rethink that, you know? People trying to be all trendy and shit, dude. I'm like, I mean, what they have a 73% uh divorce rate, lesbians,
Dude. And
and
then
yeah,
and then if the woman does hit your daughter, you can't do anything as the father, so you have to go look for the fucking boxer, right? To beat her up.
yeah, right. Oh, dude, there's a good indie wrestling thing where it has this chick smack this dude, and he's just like, ah, and he goes, he walks out the ring, then he comes back with a wig and a dress and just tees off on her, dude, gets her in the corner,
That is great.
slams her, power bombs her and stuff. Yeah, dude, that's good writing right there, you know. But yeah, but there's just so much crazy shit. What got you guys started into conspiracy and looking at things? What was the first thing that turned that made you think like this is all fucked up?
I'll go because I've told this multiple times. It's I got accredited to some WWE, well, WCW rather, when I was little and I was a big Goldberg fan. And I was like super hype on Goldberg, like tried to watch his title fight against Kevin Nash when he was undefeated and made my parents buy the pay-per-view.
The
And
record.
oh yeah. And
Yeah.
I was real little, so I knew no better. I thought it was 100% like legit sport, you know.
Oh
It
yeah.
wasn't fixed in my head, and I fell asleep and I didn't get to see the result. And the next morning, my dad told me, he's like, "Oh no, the you fell asleep. Scott Hall came and stun gunned Goldberg and like knocked out the ref, and then dragged him on top of Goldberg, and they counted 1, 2, 3, and he lost." I was like, "No, that didn't happen. No way." Like he's like,
Oh,
"No, that's what
dude.
happened." I was like, "Seriously? Like that shouldn't count." Like, no, it's. I was like devastated, and ever since then,
Oh, dude.
I haven't
You
trusted
you
authority.
you you would have been traumatized if you saw that live, dude. You're
I
lucky you
know.
fell asleep.
Yeah, it would have
You
been
had a
so
good
much
bad
worse.
news breaker.
Right.
Oh,
Um,
dude. So yeah, so you were like, there's a hidden hand after that, huh?
100%. And then I guess just like teachers and hating homework and them telling me like if you don't do this, it was always just like a negative consequence. So you're gonna end up like and going to jail. You're gonna end up this or that just because I
Jeez.
couldn't focus on my math homework.
Yeah.
hmm.
How
for
about
Yeah, for me it was I've always been interested in like aliens. I remember watching Alien Autopsy. I was like 11 years old, 12 years old. But you know, back then there was no internet. So it was like it left me thirsty. So I'd literally look in encyclopedias, like for like Abominable Snowman, Bigfoot, like get anything I could, you know, go to the library, get books. And then a part of it too was you know, I saw that I saw what my family believed, and I didn't think that they were very smart in their decisions. So I was kind of a contrarian, and that kind of led me down the path too to just seeing alternative points of view and seeing how limited everybody else's point of view was. And I didn't want to be like that. I didn't want to be so sure of what you can't be sure of, and just kind of evolved, and as time went on, it's gotten more extreme, I guess you can say. But yeah, that's pretty much my origin story.
Right on. Have either of you guys had like a paranormal or a extraterrestrial type of experience or sighting or anything?
A handful. None that was extremely crazy profound. I'm convinced and pretty sure, and I had my friend with me, that we saw a dog man at one of the most haunted like woods around. There's a cemetery around where we live called Bachelor's Grove, and it's very haunted. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's pretty
No.
infamous for being like full of weird ghostly and otherworldly activity. It's got a lot of lore around it. And yeah, we saw some weird like hunched back but two-legged big black figure in it, and it was winter, so you could see pretty clearly with the snow on the ground a big black mass like sitting there and moving. And we ran. It was pretty scary. I've seen some weird orbs and lights. The house across
Nothing like that could have
the
been a bear, like out of
not here.
hibernation or
No,
anything?
not in
Not
Illinois.
in Illinois.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
a big weird. It looked like it was like two-legged, crouched over, almost like just like a massive person. Even it could have been a huge person wearing like a big black ghillie suit or something at 3 in the morning at a haunted woods in the winter, maybe. Well, we
Yeah,
were there to see some
Jesus.
scary shit. Other than that, I've had my fair share of like I worked as like a guy who came in and reset venues overnight. Like when a banquet or something would be done, I would go take all the tables and like reset it however the format was supposed to be for the next event the next day. And I also worked as a bouncer at a bar, so I'd go after the bar and do that before the next day. So sometimes it'd be like 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and some weird shit would happen in that building when I was there by myself.
3 in
Like
the morning, the witching
yeah,
hour, dude.
100%. It'd be
Yeah.
like a loud ass crash, as if like the entire stack of tables or something that I had been knocked over, and then I would go check, and there'd be nothing. I'm like, what could have possibly made that noise? And there was no evidence of
Oh
anything
yeah.
happening. So those are
No,
about the
dude.
pinnacle of mine.
Dude.
I-
Yeah.
I've had a few, but I'm not. Here's the thing: I don't really believe in that stuff. However, I've had a
Really?
few. I've had. Yeah, I mean,
He's got
I
scratch marks on his back from a ghost, and he doesn't believe.
I shouldn't say I shouldn't say I don't believe. I should say that I don't know what to believe. But I have had a few experiences. When the one Tom's referencing is actually legitimate. We have the episode that we recorded with a demonologist.
Oh.
I asked him about it because when I was little, well, first let me preface my mom's favorite movie is The Wizard of Oz. And it's important because you'll see why. So I was maybe like, I don't know, man, 9 years old, 8, 9 years old, and I had this dream where I was in the middle of the staircase going up to the upstairs, and a witch that looked to me like the Wicked Witch of the West literally was on top of the stairs calling my name like Michael, like luring me, and my mother was on the landing of the stairs. Okay. And it didn't, I mean, it was a dream, but it was fucking real to me as a kid. I
Oh,
mean, it
dude.
fucked me up. And then
I had a
you're,
witch. I had a witch situation, so I can relate, dude.
dude, as a kid, like, and and the demonologist was like, yeah, they could basically they know in your mind what you conceive. And since I just saw that movie, now I'm thinking, fuck, that's like, but and many years later, I have these three deep scars, like scratches on my back, and I don't know where they came from. I was coming out of the shower one day, I was probably like 20, 21 years old, still lived at home with my mom. And she's like, what is on your back? And I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, you got like these like scars and they're healed. They're like bad, dude. They're like fucking like you would know where they came from. They're
Oh,
terrible
jeez.
looking. I don't know where those came from. So that's one of my weird
Not some
things.
random stretch marks or anything, like
Not because they're
I
not in
had
the
too many donuts last night. I don't know.
no, I am a fat fuck, but it's in like the
No.
middle of my back and it's like isolated. So like they're scars. Like, yeah,
Is it like a claw type
sideways.
swipe?
Like, yeah, like three swiped. Yeah, dude.
Hmm.
I could send you a picture after the show. I'll
Like
send you a
like
picture.
yeah, so you're like you're running away and something swiped at
Yeah.
you or something, right?
I have no
That's
idea, bro. It was
no pain, no nothing, no recollection.
no, Nothing, dude. Nothing at all. Another
Have you
one.
checked your body for implants, bro?
I mean,
Have you been
no more than
abducted?
just. I don't know. I don't know. I have a tattoo that kind of implicates me being abducted, but I don't think I ever have. You know, like I don't have any. I wish. Like that's one thing. I'm like, come on, fucking grab me, dude. Like I want to go up there and see what's up,
That
but
terrifies me, dude.
yeah, as long as they bring me back, I'll be all right, you know. But I also had
I,
one more experience that I can't explain too, so I'll be quick with it. So we used to live in an apartment in Lombard, and it was me, my wife, and my two kids. And my wife had been experiencing weird things when I was at work, and I'm like, "You're just fucking crazy, da, 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 losing it," you know. And so one night my buddy's over and I'm like, let's fucking it's like 2 in the morning. I don't know. It was in the middle of dead of the night. And I'm like, let's fucking do EVP. You know, let's grab a recorder, a dictaphone, and fucking just I'm gonna ask some questions, you know. And I did. And one of the questions was, are you a male or female? And I audibly we heard nothing. But then when I played it back and put headphones on, after I asked that question, you heard a female voice say female. And when I fucking heard it, I went to my friend. I didn't tell him what I heard. I said, bro, what do you hear after I ask this question? And he said the same fucking thing. I played it for my
hmm.
wife. She heard it. And guess what we found out about 2 months after that? That because I was friends with Josh, who was the kid that lived below me. Okay, the apartment below me. What I found out was about a year before we moved in, the girl, the woman in the apartment above us committed suicide from postpartum depression. So
Hmm.
in my head, maybe that could be, you know, linked somehow. But those are like my two craziest ones. And I don't know what to believe, you know. I don't know because those are I
Well,
can't explain them.
do you believe in like the um uh all possibility, the quantum, that everything is happening, every different version, every possibility and stuff, the different ways things could be within the same but fractal off into another. Um, I always think that it's a dimensional thing. There's like uh the vibration changes like that, like the girl, she checked out, her vibrations kind of still within that realm, you know. But no, I believe in all that stuff,
Yeah,
not
tell
like,
us the witch
oh,
encounter.
you know. Oh, well, yeah. So one of the things about me, and I believe this is, um other than like a few things, I think this is a huge deal. Like, one, my numerology, I'm a life path of 11, which says that I'm an old soul. I'm also a Virgo. Says that, being a life path of 11, I've been here a lot. I've been through the ringer, supposedly, as a soul. And so when I was 2 weeks before my second birthday, I was being babysat at my neighbor's house, and they had a pool with a cover, the old bubble wrap covers. And I had pushed down the child gate, walked out, went in, and then the cover went back over. And they estimate that I was probably underwater for like 10 minutes, you know. And when they, when they found me, they couldn't just immediately get me because my grandma couldn't swim. So she had to, someone, one of the kids ran across the street, got another girl, teenage girl. She jumped in, got me. My grandma and her both did CPR on me, and they said that's pretty much what like saved my life. So like no visible or recognizable brain damage or anything, but I was dead, and I think that like I think that kind of took a layer off of something, I think there's something, I think something happened to me with that, because in less than 2 weeks I was out of the hospital. I was fine, running around. I think within like 5 or 7 days I was running around the hospital, and they're like, okay, he's got to go, like they had to wait and see and whatever. But like a total miracle thing. And actually the same weekend that happened to me, OJ Simpson had a daughter that drowned in the pool and died. Same weekend. Crazy.
It's
But and then I had a friend's brother. Um, he had an accident, a drowning accident, only a couple minutes, and he got mentally and physically retarded from it. You know, I mean that's just a medical term, but loss of I won't say loss of a limb, but crippled like one side. You know, speech and he's always going to need assistance and stuff. So somehow I lucked out, but I think that like kind of removed a layer of whatever. So I've always been different. I've always seen things different than other people, and um but when I was a kid, my mom, single mom, to me and my sister, she's 5 years older than me, we moved a lot. And I just remember, wow, why do we even unpack? You know what I mean? Like we're always just moving and stuff. So we end up having this one apartment in Huntington Beach, California. And the place was haunted like a motherfucker, man. I mean, I don't ever remember sleeping in that house. I remember going to the bathroom and seeing the stove moving, on the way, and the doors, cabinet doors closing and stuff, and sounding like a metal frame bed being dragged over like the floor, and it was all the time, and I thought at one point in time when I got out a little older, I'm like, oh, the cabinets and all that stuff, like that's just the child's mind. I go, the neighbors were probably just fucking like crazy. That's why I'm hearing all the banging and and stuff. But then I started thinking about it, and I was like, I remember being sleep next to my mom and trying to wake her up during all this stuff, and she wouldn't wake up. My older sister wouldn't wake up, and I remember so uh, it was terrifying to me. So I like had that, and then I was living with my grandparents. My mom, I was probably about, or no, I was staying at my grandparents. I was probably about 7 years old, and um, it was me and my friend JB from across the street, and we're spending the night, and it's like a Saturday night, and I remember I was just I had the front windows on. We had this couch right along the front window right there, looking straight out into the street, you know, and it was a clear night, and there's a big ass moon. And I remember my buddy was sleeping on the couch right there, and I'm on the couch and I'm just staring at the moon, and I see this thing flying like around, you know, and I'm like, so I'm just staring at it. And then I see it like it's giving me chills. I see it like swoop like close, like through the trees, like in front of the house and like around. And I was like, whoa, like it was like a flash though, or not a flash, but like a swoosh, but it was black, like a shadow, and then I'd see like it go back up and then it'd come back down. And I remember I was like, man, and it just reminded me of like how a witch would fly. And as soon as that like crossed my mind, bam, right in the window, there was a witch like right there, like the nose, the face, and had these gnarly teeth,
Was she
and the
green?
hat. Yes, and it
Oh,
was
it's
like
fucking
it
same thing
was
I
it
saw.
was like it was like a light green, like, and I remember just freezing, and it tapped on the window, and I just like slowly just turned away and like looked at my friend. And then as I like kind of like looked back, it took off. And being a glutton for punishment, I stared at that. I waited for it to happen again, and it never happened. But dude, it scared the hell out of me because all of a sudden it was like, bam, right in my face. And then the teeth, I remember the teeth were broken, and it was gnarly, dude. And it just, it was a cinematic situation and feel, you know, but like I remember the finger looked like it was wood, like it was a long nail or something. Scared the hell out of me. And I mean, I remember it like, I still think about it all the time. I don't want to say all the time, but it comes up. And I had another thing like that happen to me. Um, out in the desert camping. Now, it wasn't anything that close, but my uncle used to take me camping. We'd go out into basically the Mojave. I live in Las Vegas, which is the Mojave, but it's in the California side. Now, granted, uh, knowing what I know now, with all the military stuff that's in and around, who knows? But it was kind of early in night, but sun goes down, it's dark, and we got a little fire, and I had a spotting scope, and I'm just kind of aiming it in the sky. When you have stuff like that, it's all shaky and everything. I didn't have a tripod or anything, so I'm like looking, and I actually have this moment where I have just a clear shot, and I'm kind of just like looking at a star, and all of a sudden this thing just comes up and stops right in front of it or like below it. So now, and I was like, whoa. And I'm like looking, I'm trying to find it again, but once you take your eye off of it, it's almost impossible to get back to what you were looking at, and so I'm like looking, and and all of a sudden I see this thing. Now I don't know how it is where you guys are, but like here, in the spring or whatever, we get these like little gnats that fly in these little square patterns. They kind of just bounce around in a little square pattern. Like they just kind of, they're not like fruit flies or anything. I don't know what they are, but this thing was flying like that, but just like a star, but as a dot, a glowing dot, and it just like in a square pattern, or to go back and forth. But it was all like in 90 degrees. It wasn't like a circle or, you know, everything was a straight line on where it was moving. And I was like, holy shit. And then all of a sudden, another one flies right up to it, and then it starts doing its little patterns. So it's kind of, they're just like moving in it. And I get my uncle, and I'm like, yo, dude, I go, look up there. And he's just like, I don't see anything. And I was like, right there. And I pointed and stuff. And he was just like, oh, yeah, I mean, it could be a million things, And I was just like, so I'm freaking out. I'm probably like 10 years old. And I'm like, I'm just like, no, that just, it did, when stuff just doesn't sit right, you're like, ah. And so next thing you know, he's like, I'm going to bed. Da, 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 da. I'm like, okay. And I'm watching it, and they're there for a while. I mean, in my mind, 20 minutes, but it could have been 5 minutes. I don't know. I mean, I'm just like locked in on this. And the next thing you know, as they're like doing their little patterns, one just goes, like in the movies when things just kind of pew,
Yeah.
that thing just darts off and goes. And I was like, wow, right? So I'm watching the other one up there, and all of a sudden it's coming down like towards me, like towards where we're at, like, but it's way the hell up there. But it's coming, and I'm looking at it, and it's coming. Next thing you know, this thing just comes down, but it's still far away. But it's like now it feels like it's in our atmosphere. It's in our, you know what I mean? Like if it got any closer, I think I would have been able to actually see it, but it was still just the light, what I'm able to see, if that makes sense. And this thing comes down, and I just get this feeling like it's staring at me, you know? And so I'm just like so I decided to go back to the truck where where my uncle is, because we were camping. He had like a little camper. So I go back to the truck, and I was kind of like waiting there. I'm just kind of, and then I kind of look up, and the thing is over here now. So I had got out of the way of it to be able to see me. And next thing you know, when I look up, it's over on the other part of the sky looking at me. And I was just like, oh my God. And like as soon as I said that, it just took off. So then, just like with the witch, I stood there all night long until the sun come up looking for that thing. But I mean, both times were things that like I felt like something. I felt like there was something being told to me. I don't know what it is. I don't. It's still one of those things that go over my mind. Other than I can just say that it's really like let me know like don't don't discredit or discount anything or everything. Like you might want to you know understand or understand that you might be beyond your level of thinking. I mean, that's where they come up with the word coincidence. It's just a way for them to say, oh, it's a coincidence when they can't scientifically explain it. I
Right.
mean, that's all that is. When they're all like all these things like mind over matter type stuff, works and all this shit, and like, well, it's just a coincidence, like the lady's adrenals went in. It was like, oh no, dude, there was a manipulation of the reality.
That's what I think. And it seems like almost you willed or manifested or influenced those situations with your thoughts. Cause like you said, as soon as you thought something, the situation changed. What do you think that witch thing was? Do you have any thoughts on that? You said you go back and forth in your head, but that's a wild story. What do you make of it?
Well, I don't, I mean, I don't know because if it was like a if it was like a child abduction thing, I would have been taken. I mean, something that was moving that quick, that fast. Was it my imagination? I mean, it was fucking real as shit. You know, I remember going to sleep. You know what I mean? I remember staying up until I had to go to sleep. You know what I mean? Like, so it wasn't like a dream or anything. Um, you know, I don't know, man. Sometimes I mean, if the devil wants to like recruit you, I don't think you'd send a witch. You know what I mean? Like, that's not my kind of kink. You're not gonna even a big titty witch. I'm probably not gonna go. I don't deal with warts. But uh, geez, I, I, like I said, I think it was a message to like let me know like there's things out there. You know, I remember when I was a kid. Speaking about you had a demonologist, I had a guy that gave me the book of demonology when I was uh, probably about 15, and because I thought it was all cool, Slayer,
Right.
and so I was like, I was into like reading it and stuff, and it talked about all these different things and these trolls and these energy, demons and stuff, and I had a dream one time, at least I thought it was a dream when I was a kid that when we were sleeping at a YMCA, a little after school thing, that I saw like demons or like demon shadows like sitting or crawling around the kids. All the kids that had like were asleep, and I had like kind of woken up, and I just saw like it was kind of like Monsters Inc. Like everything had like its own little different entity with it. And that wasn't anything that like stuck out in my mind. But when I was reading that book, I was like, oh shit. I was like, that really conjured up a big like memory because that happened when I was a kid. But when I was like 15 reading that book, I was like, okay, there's something to all this shit, you know? But that's how that's the thing is right now, the whole world, it's all about good and evil, dude. I mean, that's the whole thing. I tell people, I don't care if you're religious or not. The people who are running the world and how they choose to operate the world do believe in whatever religion doctrine, be it the Talmud or whatever, and they're making decisions about for humanity based off of that shit. So, you know, um,
It's not a
but
matter if we believe it or not. If they believe it and their actions are influenced by those beliefs, which then have an effect on us. So we kind of need to be aware of it either way.
yeah, and me myself, I mean, I was raised in and around a Mormon family, Mormon stuff. I was baptized Mormon. But my grandparents weren't strict with it, and all that. And I do like, what's crazy too is how much like pre-flood historical fact that the Mormons have in their doctrine about this land, America, like what was actually here pre-flood and all sorts of shit that's like backed up with Indians and the native tribes and all sorts of shit like that. But Um, I at like 10 years old was like, I don't want to be around any of these people because being around people at school, baseball, all my friends I skateboarded with, there was always like this competition. There's backstabbing, there's these rules, there's these, you know. And I remember going into church and I was like, this is just more of that shit. You know what I mean? And then and then what's funny too was like people who were like holy rollers were caught cheating with each other's, you know, banging other people in church and stuff. So I was like, I don't need organized religion. I think the most thing that I got out of it was like where to look into things, not what they're doing and all that. Um, but I'm definitely a God fearing Christian. You know, I got my own hangups and shit, dude, you know. But and I'm not like a Bible thumper and judge people and stuff because I know that's not my position. But a lot of the things that I do, you know, a lot of the things that I make my decisions and consider now in life, are based off of, you know, the Christ doctrine, you know, and it's not there's a lot more that I can learn, but you know, as the more you learn, you're like, even this is kind of bullshit. There's something past this that led to this, you know. So, you know, that's where I get into like history and all that stuff because you're like, oh man, that really ties into what they were saying over in this side of the world or whatnot, you know. There's a lot to be said. That's why you know, I always laugh at people that are so sure, you
Right.
know. You know what I mean? I go, dude, this is your first time. You know what I mean? This is what for we know. This is our first time here. How do we know what is what and who, you know? I mean, fuck, dude, if you look at like a lot of our history, I mean, you go back in your family bloodline, it's going to stop up to a certain point where you can't find anything. You know what I mean? Like the majority of people, that shit stops in the 1800s, dude. You can't find shit. So are we like, are people, have you guys heard of the Cabbage Patch theory?
Oh yeah, man. That shit is
You know what I
wild.
mean? Like human cloning and like the big reset, and they added 1,000 years. So like everything was supposed to be like say 900, and they put now it's 1902, or you
Yep.
know what I mean? Like, um, but yeah, my uncle was really big into genealogy, and he's like, yeah, dude, I can only trace people back only so far, you know. And I was like, dude, we're reset people.
It really could be. And one of the craziest things, I mean, it's not even that crazy, but when I first heard some of the Cabbage Patch stuff like being proposed as a serious thing, in my head, I just was like, all right, let me look. What is the closest plant to human DNA? And it's cabbage. So I'm like, oh,
Really?
yeah, maybe it really
I
could
didn't
have
know that.
been something they pulled off. Yeah. Like if you think about it that way, maybe they really could have figured out a way to grow a person with cabbage or something. If they're doing other
Yeah.
types of cloning and gene splicing, it makes sense.
Well, remember in the when you look at like the the 20s and the 1910s and you know, they had like human incubators. There was just babies in these incubators, you know, and it was quite prevalent in the eastern like cities, you know, in these places like this was like a thing. And it was like, where the hell did these kids come from? Then they had the orphan trains where it
Yeah.
just shows, you know, shipping all these kids out, and they're just like, oh yeah, they're displaced from war, and they're like, this still doesn't make sense. Like, there's not that many displaced people. Like, we're the, you know what I mean? Like, we're the moms, you know. Um, but they had technologies back then that were, I mean, they definitely suppressing stuff. I mean, everything we're told is a lie, man. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
top down, you know. And I think once we start getting more and more to the core of the onion, that's when they hit the reset and they get rid of us again, dude. You know, seems like they're trying right now.
I was about to say it feels pretty close right now.
Well, you know, one of the things I remember Alex Jones mentioning this. He goes, "Dude, when they try to depopulate, the population tends to boom." He's like, they've been slowly, instead of like a direct threat, they've been slowly doing this in a subverted way where it's now a de-sterilization. It's a
Right.
it's manipulating the genetics. Whereas first, yeah, at other times when you go to like put an attack, send people to world war and stuff, people tend to breed like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
When there's what's crazy is um, when there's a potential threat to the species, we tend to breed more, you know. Um, but the thing is what they're doing now, it does look like uh I
Just
mean,
breeding prevention instead. Yeah.
there's a population crisis. I mean, right now I think Japan is paying people to go over there and knock up their women.
Sounds like a
Uh,
sweet deal.
Yeah, it does, especially when you see some of them mamas over there.
Yeah.
But Russia was doing the same thing. Russia, a few countries, they're like giving people tax-free loan or interest-free loans to start families or in a business and stuff like that for people, young people to get married. China, I mean, they reversed their child policy thing because they're heading for a shitstorm, you know. Um,
Sounds like someone needs to book a comedy tour in Japan and Russia.
yeah, dude. But yeah, I remember this was some years back because they've been in Vegas. They were in Vegas for a long time, but Putin like hired Boys to Men to tour over there to spur fucking lovemaking and shit. I guess they had like the most amount of songs that were played in the bedroom or something. Da, 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 da. Yeah, they scientifically like yeah. So they tried to make them a big deal in Russia so the people would start boning and shit. You know?
That's hilarious. When you
Yeah,
mentioned that we reproduce more when there's, a threat, I've heard that more men are born around that time of war too. It's like humanity's balancing itself out whenever there's big wars, like just producing more fighting males. And if they were trying to just wipe us out and realize it doesn't work that way, then yeah, why not fuck everybody up with hormone imbalances and all types of
yeah.
things to kill our sterility, or even cutting off genitalia and making everybody mate with the same sex or not having fucking sex or gender. Who the fuck knows? But yeah, that seems to be the plan of action now for depopulation. Then is just sterilization.
Yeah, and it's all done off of like a lot of that stuff is all done off of the uh the spin of what like being free is. Oh, you're free to do whatever you want. And then you have people that like kind of, either chemically or emotionally or physically manipulate people into doing these things out of freedom and doing, what's best for you and stuff. Um, when that's a weaponization of our freedoms and all that. But so it's like, well, now you're gonna put a law where you're saying you can't do anything with your body. Well, yeah, I mean, to a certain point when you're before you're 18, you know what I mean. There's got to be a level, and it should be higher than that, really, because I mean, I don't think the brain is fully developed until like 24 or something like that. Like um, I'll be honest though, I mean, other than finding better ways to like articulate myself and stuff, I'm kind of the same as I was when I was a teen, you
Mhm.
know. Uh Other than some things I've grown to like, no, I just don't like that anymore, or that's not my thing. But um they're trying to whittle us down, man. I mean, from everything from toxic masculinity to I mean shit, dude, they had TikToks of these little these soy boys that are like bone and tendon telling people that it's like working out is somehow
Makes you a
oppressive to
Nazi
other
or
people.
something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right wing.
yeah, and I was like taking care of yourself is but what do you expect from people with low testosterone, man?
For
You
real.
know, seriously. Yeah. What's that gonna get you? Those dudes are gonna man the farm, slaughter the cows, and I mean, make the grass patties. Fucking, you know.
What
It's
are some of
But
your favorite rabbit holes to go down?
um, hmm, there's a lot because it all like it all ties together.
I
But
feel you.
what
Truly.
uh I do like there's a work done by a gentleman that I think very highly of, Michael Tessarian,
Oh yeah.
and he had a Atlantis alien visitation and genetic manipulation, and basically he like breaks down how there was either cosmic or interdimensional travelers that came here and basically set up shop here on the planet. Um, and there was another planet that was in between what Mars and Jupiter, or us and Mars. I forget what it's which one, but it was called Tiamat, and they believe that it was called the second sun. Was I think it was the second sun, but
Tiamat and Marduk.
yeah, and the the escapees, the people that were running away from uh said galaxy, which I forget. I'm kind of spinning my wheels with this, but uh, they came here, but instead of like setting up shop on here on Earth, they set up shop like a dummy deal on Tiamat or Marduk, and the pursuers came here and basically said, you know what, we're not going to waste any time and just blow up the planet, right? So where that planet is, we have our asteroid belt, and that asteroid belt
Right.
still goes around, right? And a lot of the stuff that they believe that was from that planet, it gets cryogenically frozen in space, and some of that cosmic debris, when it made its way close to our atmosphere and gets pulled in, this is if you believe in space,
Right.
that kind of deal, right? Uh, but that's where we get a lot of the creatures, ocean creatures and stuff that are here. Supposedly it's from another planet. And I remember when I was just moved out here to Vegas, there was a place, it's called Tule Springs, and they had like in just this one little area, it rained frogs, tadpoles and frogs. Um, but they literally fell out of the sky. And they talk about that in other places where it's rained fish before, it's rained frogs, it's
Right.
rained
That's so crazy
salamanders and
though.
stuff, right? And supposed those are things that aren't uh, part of what was naturally here. It's kind of brought here. But I find that stuff fascinating, and then it goes in that stuff from there goes into, from the Anunnaki to basically, manipulation of man and basically making it what we are today. And it's funny is when I listen to dudes like Tessarian and David Icke, and they talked about this shit that they research, and Jordan Maxwell and stuff. They researched from dudes before, and they were talking about all this, you know, our DNA's been messed with. We're nowhere on the evolutionary chain. Like there's no monkey to us. There's something in between if we're supposed to be, like all this, and then it comes out with all these different scientists and quantum, stuff that these people are like, oh yeah, dude, uh, our DNA has been altered. Our telomeres have been cut. Like we should be able to regenerate a limb. If this was connected, we'd be able to live forever. With all this kind of stuff. I mean, if you look at it, um, we're like the old cars, dude. The cars now, planned obsolescence. So whatever like created us, and then when you get to the Bible, they're like, yeah, so and so lived 300 and some years. You're like, that's fucking stupid. No one's living 300 years. But they're like, dude, if these two things were connected, we'd be living like 300 years. You know what I mean? Like it's like crazy. So um I there's a lot of validity to that stuff. That's one of the things I go rabbit hole with. The other thing which goes along with that is like the psyop that we're bombarded with. You know, again, being somebody that tells jokes and uses deception and turns and, you know what I mean, keeps people on their toes. You see it all over, you know. I mean, I think They Live is one of my
Fucking A, dude,
favorite
my favorite
movies,
movie ever.
you know.
Good
And
one.
it just it tells you so much, you know. And limited dialogue in that movie too. A lot of it's just like showing you different things. But it's everywhere, you know. I mean, and then when you look at like people act like, oh, that's crazy. I go, dude, you know they spend $4 billion a year in marketing, research, and in advertising towards kids, children. $4 billion. It's probably even more
Yeah.
now. You know what I mean? And why is that? They're creating brands for life, you know. And what do you do with politics? I mean, why do you think we have student body president and da 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 da? You know, and all that shit, dude. We're just
Good
building
point.
them all the way up. You know, I mean, look at all the politicians today, dude. They were all student body presidents and all.
And they were
You know what I
all
mean? They were all
fraternity
involved.
Masonic.
Well, they were all involved. They were all involved from day one of wanting to be, you know, help. You know, but then when you find out the how good of a business is of being a politician, of not doing shit and getting greased everywhere, fuck. I understand.
You mentioned
You
your
know.
Tessarian guy. Have you gone down his Irish origin of civilization route?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's some
And
wild. I love that stuff.
a lot of that, you know, when you tie that in with the Phoenicians and
Nope.
the uh the Egyptians, you get into the like Italian bloodlines. And you know, I know Tripoli has mentioned it before, but that's like where the supposedly what's like really ruling the world, you know. So a lot of people think it's the Jews, which I mean, you can't deny they're doing their thing, right? But there's layers of the 13 families, the bloodlines, you
For
know.
sure.
And these people are people, you know, I mean, we know the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, and we know the Vanderbilts, and you know all these people and all this stuff, you know, whoever. But you don't hear of like the Cressinis, and you don't hear of like all these the Osiris and all these people who are like resource owners, but they're like bloodline
Right.
people, you know, untouchables. I guess, you know, I guess there's people you start talking about them and weird shit happens to you. It starts going on in your life, you know. So um but there's so many layers to everything. Getting back to the Tessarian with the druid stuff, did you ever see the Family Guy where uh it shows the Irish
Before alcohol.
before alcohol?
I feel like that was a nod
That's
to
a
that to the Tartaria civilization thing too.
that is 100% telling you, look how we brought them down. You know what I mean? Like, and here's another thing too. When you want to look at like trophy heads, look at our money. Look at the heads on our money. Almost all of the people who are on our dollar, our faces are on our dollar, oppose the Federal Reserve System. Only a couple of them that actually supported it. Uh, but they're all trophy heads. They were all
Wow.
defeated. You know what I mean? I mean, Andrew Jackson, probably the biggest one. I mean, they had two attempts on his life, and it said on his headstone, "I killed the banks," right? But they still got what they wanted. They still and they put his head on his face on their money because it's like a fuck you for life, you know. But they there's so much symbolism in the thing. I mean, it's truly like, look who went up against us. We took him out. Abraham
Yeah,
Lincoln
it
on
is.
the money. George Washington, you know, he died from some botched operation, right? uh what they got JFK on there on the money, you know. And then you have on the $100,000 bill Woodrow Wilson, and that was the dude who signed in the Federal Reserve
Oh
Act
man,
and got it all right. But after he did, he comes out and he says, "I think I unwittingly destroyed
told my
our
country. Yeah.
country from within." And they were like, "Yeah, buddy, bam, you get the top note." You know what I
Oh
mean?
man.
It's crazy how they do. But you know, for all this stuff that like for everyday people, all of us, like it's like, oh, that's stupid, it's weird. these elites, they're obsessed with it. And if you've ever been around people who got like crazy money, you know, someone in their family, if not them directly, are obsessed with their family tree and their bloodline. And they have pictures. I've been in some very wealthy people's homes and stuff. And every single one of them has something that shows the lineage of both the families, this, that, and they track it. And it's like a running ledger of sorts.
That's just a coincidence, bro.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, when you look at all the presidents, you look at all the rich people and stuff, they're all got these bloodlines, they're interwoven. Celebrities, they're like, how does that even? Because again, there's stuff there that they have to do shit outside of the bloodline so they don't make retarded fucking people. But there's a lot of inbreeding in that shit. When you look at them, you're like, how the fuck is this dude? Like, there's some people you're like, how the fuck is this dude supposed to be like top dog? I mean, he looks like he's like pulls his pants down to his ankles when he takes a piss at a
Right.
urinal. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a big boy. Uh,
And it's because a lot of the times they think that they are related to some like supernatural being or beings or the fallen angels or the Nephilim or whatever, some like mythological king they trace their bloodline back to in most cases.
well, they think they're better, right? They tell themselves that they're better. They raise their kids to believe that they're better. They don't look at money the same way as we do. They don't look at opportunities in business the same way as we do. It's a totally different thing, and they are on these blue blood elites and stuff. They are on a different vibration.
For sure.
It is true. I mean, it is. There's a great guy to look up and research, and Kevin Kevin Trudeau, not Justin Trudeau from. I think they're both from Canada though, but Kevin Trudeau, the guy that had the cures they don't want you to know about and the money they don't want you to know about, and this dude broke down all the bullshit, put it into a book in an infomercial, and was like, look, dude, they're telling you this because they want to sell you these medicines, they want to do all this and well, this guy had a great seminar or whatever called Your Wish is Your Command, and he took all these teachings from like Illuminati study, uh, the Brotherhood, I mean, all these different things, and he compiled it in there on how to like use your mind and all stuff like that. Well, this information was so powerful, they put this dude in prison, tax and all this shit like that. Now he's out and he's on TikTok and he's going crazy, dude. I mean, he's just putting it all out there again. But if you can find his works, that guy, you want to talk about being ahead of his time, dude. But he's talking on the surface level. And he talks about like how like the Brotherhood and the Illuminati and like all these different he knows people from the Trilateral Commission and they're I mean like all this shit. And he's talking like everybody knows what he's talking about, but the audience that he is talking to does know. So any Joe Blow that buys his stuff or bought it back then, they're like, this is a bunch of garbage. I don't know what he's talking about. So they have no like frame of reference. But it tells you everything about your mind. It tells you everything about how to go about your business and do things like how the elite do. And he talks about they are on another vibration. And this is how you get to that vibration. That's basically what his whole thing is. And it's amazing work. It's something I think, if you can find it, I had it, but they took it off. I had it saved on a playlist. They took it off the internet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And you know what? They put all his shit out there for a while for free so he couldn't make any money. So whoever, like when the government took over his shit, they put all that shit on the internet for free. So he couldn't make any money off of it because they didn't want his money from the tax or anything. They wanted to shut him down and like stifle it. So they went, and then once somebody that gets arrested for fraud and all this stuff like that, then all this shit's out for free. No one watches it. It's fucking bars of gold it was sitting right there for anybody to pick up, But yeah, Kevin Trudeau, dude, that guy was legit as far as breaking down, information and stuff.
Was he talking about the families we don't mention?
Some of it, a little bit. You know what's crazy is one of my big problems is I end up doing so much research and covering a lot of shit that I don't know where I saw it, or I couldn't give you the
Sam.
link, right? I'm not a guy that saves links and all stuff. And when I do, a lot of stuff that I have, I go back, page doesn't exist, or
Oh yeah.
So I quit trying to like keep everything, Um, and then when I did, I could never find it. I got it somewhere. Hold on. But I came across this like map, and it was like corporations, world leaders, the bloodline families, da da da. Then it went to like this old world stuff and these like old world families. And I was like, holy cow, man. I go, there's a lot of other shit here. Then it had like this other link to click off that. And it was like basically went into like a world of like Conan the Barbarian and all these like different, ancient stuff. And basically what it was saying there is of like, if you've made it this far, fucking good luck. You know what I mean? Because you're not getting out of this little, you know, and I wouldn't even know where to start. Looking at all these names, shit I couldn't pronounce, these maps that had countries and or regions or whatever that I don't know what language is in. They're all hyperlinked and everything. You could click to it and it'd give you all the information, but it was just blah 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 blah. Like, but there's so much shit. What do you do? You know what
Right.
I mean? Like, where do you start? You know, how do you even how do you even make sense of what we got going on in front of us?
On the surface
You
level,
know,
yeah.
fuck, man.
I think I
Like
might
that whole
know what you're talking about a little bit. Was it like you said there was like some Conan the Barbarian shit where it was like there was dragons and that's why castles were fortified and there was Tesla towers and knights armors was actually designed to like fight electromagnetic weapons and shit like that. Is it something like that?
it was more towards the families or tribes and what they did, what they controlled, and the regions. It didn't get into anything that we would consider mythical or anything like that. But it was like conquering and taking over, and it seemed to be the world like there was a world before and there was a world after the collapse or after the flood or the
Some
whatever.
sort of cataclysm.
Um, yeah, and all I know is that one, I wish I had it because there's a lot I'd like to reference from it. But the other thing is you think you know something, and then there's like, oh no, this it's like Men in Black. They're like, you're gonna let them. We gotta let them know that they're living in a locker. There's much more to the world than that. And the dude's like, oh, you don't know anything. Opens up the door and then they're in a locker. And then they got the whole train station for aliens, and you know, uh, that's how like the more you research, the more you'll find. That's why I was always a big proponent. Everybody's like, oh, let's raid Epstein's island. I go, yeah, cool. Let's raid the Vatican vault. That's where to me, I think that's where the world's secrets are. I
Most
think
likely.
everything,
I'm with you.
when they tell us, oh yeah, they took all the stuff and then they burned it. No, they didn't.
They got
It's
miles of tunnels
information.
under there.
Yeah, but it's information. Like what they sought out information to learn more about the world or whatever, to get a better advantage of stuff, and then they're just gonna burn it and stuff. No, these guys took that charts, and this way they're trying to predict whatever they can from astrology all the way down to numerology and making things happen. What do they know? What do they know about the herbs in that area that we don't know? What's written down? What kind of medical procedures are they doing over here that we could benefit? You know what I'm saying? They just burned it. Took all the gold. That was it.
No, it pretty
Yeah.
much ties back to what else you said too. If they were able to raise their vibration or use powers that are already accessible to us, but just suppress it from everyone else, so they're the only ones that can use it. It's the same thing with knowledge.
Mhm. Have you guys ever heard of the ancient miners theory?
Not sure. Go ahead and
Yeah, I'm not
tell
sure.
us.
So when I was going down my Tartarian rabbit hole, I came across this thing called the ancient miners. And um, have you ever heard of like all the rivers and lakes in the United States are fake? They're man-made,
I
or
have heard people say that they were
they're they're
excavated, yeah, or like blown
they're
out with
they're
dynamite or something.
they're a construct, right? So ancient miners theory is there's these, you know, aliens, there's a life form that came here to mine the minerals. But the planet wasn't as you would say fully developed, right? So there's a phenomenon when lightning strikes and hits the ground, if there's the right kind of minerals and stuff, it'll make when that electricity disperses and you know how it does its patterns and stuff,
The scarring on the earth.
right? It'll where that energy goes, if there's the right kind of minerals, it'll actually make a mineral. You know what I mean? Like it'll make it's like a form of alchemy or whatnot, like combining, right? So you know how like they are always trying to turn lead into gold,
Uh-huh.
right? The chemistry and stuff. Well, apparently, with the amount of heat from saying like a lightning strike and the right elements, gold can be made, right? Gold can actually appear, and I think that's how actually gold comes from is some sort of energy in the elements makes it. Pardon me. So with the lightning hitting the area, and it would make this pattern. Okay. Now, one of the things is with this pattern, the pattern has like very lightning strike and stuff or electricity. It has a very distinct branch pattern. And there's these parts where it connects and it kind of makes like a four, right? So this dude like breaks down. He goes, you look at all the rivers, you look at all the streams, you look at all the from the Grand Canyon stuff. This looks like a lightning strike in these areas that made all this. And then something would have to come and excavate all that out, right? So with a body of water or a source of water around, aquifer underneath, whatnot, if they were to be able to use giant water cannons or something like that, because what's the best way to cut through anything is water, right? High pressure water can cut through metal, right? Blast it all out, break it all down, and take the gold, take the ore, take whatever they're able to create, right? So this guy uses a demonstration of a wooden table, and this is art that they do, and they take like an electric
Yeah.
pen or whatever it is, and they put it in the wood, and it burns all through the wood, right? And it creates
It's like a
a
veiny, rooty looking pattern. Yeah.
yeah, right. And as you're watching this happen, you're like, that's the fucking Grand Canyon. That's the fucking Grand Canyon right there. Because, dude, I do tours to the Grand Canyon, and there's parts of the tour where I'm like, this just doesn't make sense for a river to cut all this out. All the stuff off to the sides, the branches, it looks like lungs, like the
Right.
pulmonary, the brachial, uh, track or whatnot. And so then, if you think about it, if there was some being or something here that had that technology to do that, and then use the hydro to loosen it all up so they can break it out. And they had just imagine if they had giants, that'd be easy work for them. Pull it up.
Yeah.
But then to get down to the nitty gritty, they make the ants, right? So we go down there and we're panning for gold, and you know what I mean. Like we're still digging it up today. But there's part of these like in these areas, these regions, there's part of where this gold is that they were just like, fuck it, dude. We're not getting all the way in there. Like that's for here, you know. But when you look at that electrical thing and you look at the burning of the wood and you look at all the rivers and all the stuff, you're like, holy shit. You can't really just you can't smoke that enough weed to just pull that out of your ass.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like this is something that I have to go like, well, the math, the math here is what's putting these together. You know what I mean? Like, because again, when it comes to the Grand Canyon, there's a bunch of shit. This doesn't make sense as far as the flow of the river and all the stuff around it. The big gaps of
Like
uh
pillars in the middle, pretty much.
no. Well, there's so there's these big, so you have like these layers in the on the wall, right? And it
Uh-huh.
looks like years. Then there's like this huge flat, section. It's probably like 1,200 feet. That's just the band goes all the way around, and it's like that. It's like that in a couple spots, and it was like that's a massive something movement, something that happened right there, and it's clean. It's what I mean. But it's all it's a layer of the Grand Canyon. You know, to me, I think that was like a big harvest.
Is that layer,
But
that smooth layer, is it vitrified?
what do you mean? I'm not familiar with vitrified.
Vitrified is when a rock is heated up to its molten, and then it cures and it becomes smooth like glass. They find this in Peru and Machu Picchu. They find it in the Andes Mountains in certain areas where literally rock was heated up to temperatures that we can't even comprehend here on Earth today. And it's like what happens from a nuclear blast. It
Mhm.
vitrifies the rock. It turns it into like a shiny flat glass. I was just
Hmm.
wondering if that's how it appeared.
No, not from what I've seen. I haven't seen anything like that. When I say smooth, it's not like it's not smooth as far as like, to the touch. It's smooth as far as it's a clean section that goes, around the whole thing. It's
In
like a
comparison to the
shelf.
jagged pieces, it's very smooth. In comparison to the
Yeah,
other
you're seeing
pieces, yeah.
you're seeing like layers and all of a
Mm.
sudden this big layer,
Where it's all
That's
the
a
same, but
tremendous
it's
amount of
happening
time
quick.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and exactly. It seems like it was something that would happen quick to be able to do that. With the other things, is like it looks like it's stripping. But then that's this along like the wall. But then there's things that it all goes in like that electric. Everything goes down the center, but it's still burning out. Um, again, makes a lot of sense. And then as you're talking about the pillars and stuff down there, why can't we
Uh-huh.
go? There's a few places we can't go to the Grand Canyon. And you know what else is crazy about the Grand Canyon? They have the most, at least this is some years ago, but they had the most amount of escaped convicts living in the Grand Canyon
Huh.
because the terrain's so gnarly and stuff. They pretty much can't afford to rescue or retrieve or anything like that. So yeah. So when people disappear, it's like, well, there could be a serial killer living out there that they've never got. Who knows?
I
But
like the hood.
you know, but there's, they talk about the lost city of gold being in the Grand Canyon. That would go along with an ancient
It really
miner
would.
theory,
It really
you
would.
know. And if they had the technology to do that to the rock, and then you see how they do have those pictures of the place that were like cathedrals carved out in that rock, you know it's crazy how we're just led to believe that shit was just done by somebody just
Yeah, I know.
you know
Ha- have you heard of the Kincaid expedition
down in the canyon,
in the
the
early
guy that did.
1900s where he found all
Yeah.
the Egyptian gold and artifacts, and then the Smithsonian, they printed it in the paper, but then the Smithsonian came in and like, no, it's all a mistake. Never happened.
Hmm. Yeah, they did that, and then they also they did that with the giants
Yep.
whenever they found like a giants. And you have to remember in the late 1800s, uh late, I'd say 1880s to like the 1910s, they were finding giants all over the place, and they would all just mysteriously disappear. Then Nevada, we had the red giant, the Hopi Indians killed, or was it the Paiutes, one or the other, but they
Lovelock
both have.
Cave.
Was that?
Was it called Lovelock Cave? The cave where they like trapped the giant in and smoked him out or whatever and killed him.
Yep. And then they found bones of something that would have been at least 14 feet tall. The femur was like basically like my whole leg or something, like my entire leg, or thing would have been massive. But yeah, man. I mean, they've been trying to hide all sorts of shit. You know what's crazy about Nevada? People, we talk about the Bermuda Triangle, people disappearing, dude. We have our own Bermuda Triangle. Look it up, man. Between here, Death Valley, and Reno, there's this area like going on up. Um, I think there's been over 3,000 like missing aircraft over like X amount of years or something, dude. 3,000? Like what?
Desert's a strange place.
That's all desert, right?
Yeah, but one thing which this would be, you know, really fucked up, but uh you're there's a couple places you're not allowed to fly, which I don't think that many planes flew over the wrong place. But they're testing stuff out there all the time, you know. These people, they see something they weren't supposed to see, get taken down. I don't know. That's a lot of people. Uh and to not find any wreckage. The other thing is we got Area 51 or Area 52 out there. Who knows? But there's a lot of Nevada that has never been, they say man's foot's never crossed. It's uncharted, like it's too dense to get through. And if somebody has, no one's really marked it or anything like that. But there was a billionaire that flew, and he was flying up north. He had like this glider plane or something. I think his name was Fawcett, and he disappeared for years. It took him for a long time, and I don't even think when they said they found him, uh, I don't think they were able to confirm. But he died in the triangle. Now their excuse is from all the radioactive dust that gets kicked in the air, it throws off the instruments because of the testing. Thing is, testing really wasn't done there unless they're not giving us the truth. Testing was done in a different place. So unless California had some testing going on, you know, everything moves from west to east. So it would, if they were testing there, I mean, that's one of the things about like Utah. Supposedly they have like really high cancer rates from the fallout that would blow what from west to the east into Utah. They called it the downwind effect. And from all the testing in Nevada, just blow right on in. You know, Here you got your little Aaron Brockovich situation where everybody in towns are getting cancer like a crazy rate. They don't know why.
Going back to
Makes
what you
sense.
said about people never stepping foot in places of in certain spots in Nevada, man, if anybody's ever driven through the canyons of Utah or the deserts of Nevada, that is completely easy to conceive. I mean, it is ridiculous how vast that shit is. It's terrifying actually. Like Utah, the canyons, that's some of the scariest shit I ever seen. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
they're
it's beautiful,
unbelievable.
but it's
Right,
terribly
exactly. Yeah.
terrifying. But
Stunning.
that's where they got that Skinwalker Ranch, dude. I have people that say they've been up there and all stuff, and weird shits happen. I have a friend who has a property that's supposedly not too far from there, and he's like, bro, I get spooked out every time I go up there because something always just the energy's the energy's different, dude. I was just looking at buying some property in Utah, man. It was a beautiful place too. No, nowhere near that shit. Because I don't play around, but uh, there's something about it. I mean, the Native Americans still don't allow their people to go on that land. You know, there was a place where they supposedly like there's a buried treasure or something in like a lake there, and every time they've gone to go get it, every time they get closer, someone gets one of the dudes was attacked by a spirit like with the scratch marks that you're saying, they're burning on the face. Another dude just had like a young guy just had like a heart attack out of nowhere. This is like kind of pre-COVID when all this stuff, so it's not like you can blame the vax or anything, but machines breaking down to like all sorts of crazy stuff where this dude spent like over $1 million and just things just keep on happening, trying to get down to that little supposedly some treasure and shit, you know.
First.
Was that?
Sounds like Oak
First.
Island.
It sounds like what?
Oak Island.
Oh, I'm not Oak Island. I'm not
It's
familiar with
a
Oak
it's an
Island.
island off the coast of Nova Scotia where they believe like the Holy Grail is buried. There's a TV show on it. It's called The Curse of Oak Island. But this has been documented for hundreds of years that there's something down there, and they've found like I can't even get into how much shit there is, but they found like ancient fucking Roman coins. They found banana husks, which banana husks in Canada, but these date back
Hmm.
to like 1300. So, and it's rigged into such every time they start drilling, it floods the chamber. Yeah, it's a show. I mean, I was turned on to it before the show, but there's like 10 seasons of it on the History Channel. It's called The Curse of Oak Island. It's an interesting show. Um,
Hmm.
and it's I like those shows that kind of teach you history and kind of what we're into, at the same time. You mentioned fucking the Utah the ranch, the
Skinwalker.
yeah, have you ever seen the TV show Skinwalker Ranch?
No, no.
That's another one that's pretty good. They're very similar in the way they approach things, and it seems to be legitimate, but it's on TV, so you can never quite tell.
Yeah, um, it depends. Like sometimes stuff slips through the cracks. Sometimes it has to go out, so they can say, "Oh, well, we told you,"
I think
you
that's
know.
part of it too. And they give it just enough and then they'll mislead it just enough as well. Give
Hmm.
a little bit of
Yeah,
truth, a little bit of lie.
yeah. I mean, that's been like with everything, really. What's really sad is a lot of times people are like, "Oh yeah, like TV it isn't what it used to be, or journalism, and and it was like, dude, it was all like set up to be a psyop or controlled opposition from day one,
Yeah.
and like it's all been a part of the manipulation, and so um what we a lot of times what we I've gotten away from a lot of it because I guess it's the idea that of freedom and truth and stuff like that and free will but it's the idea of that stuff, but you would always look to examples, oh, so and so used to be like this, and then now it's like, well, that dude was probably controlled too. He just was there to make you feel like it wasn't a runaway train, whatever you're feeling as far as whatever they're selling, but I mean everything was all, I mean, the hippie movement. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
every single thing is just,
Given to
you
us.
know, yeah, I mean, we are this country, this whole thing is, the world's greatest experiment, you know?
Did you guys
Uh
know that 44 of the 46 presidents can be traced back to the same bloodline? They all have common ancestors.
And they're
I
all
mean,
related to the other royal families and shit too.
if
and
that doesn't, yeah,
who
that's
who's
just,
the
yeah.
who's the only one that's not?
I think there's Kennedy and I don't know if it was Roosevelt. Oh, I don't remember the
It's
two.
Trump. He's the
Okay.
only one that he doesn't have any ties to the I think it all ends up going back to the Merovingian
Holy
bloodline.
Roman Empire.
I think it goes, I think it's I forget which one, but yeah, Trump was the only one that was like not in any way, shape, or form. His bloodline didn't. So, uh, that's weird. I think that's weird, especially with all like the hate that he gets and stuff. But again, a lot of times I'm thinking pro wrestling too.
That's
You know,
100% as we're
you
kind of
know,
wrapping
it,
up.
me personally, I would much rather have the Don than whatever's coming in. At least this guy. I mean, I hate to say it, but uh, he's seems like the only one who's at least saying that he's trying to do something for his people, for a country. You know what I mean? Like, um, I like the idea of being energy independent. You know, our country. I mean, when you think about it, how do you really control people? Energy and food. You know, and you can't really do one without the other. That seems to be a big issue right now. You know, and all the people that are with the Democrats and the big businesses and shit, they're all for us eating bugs. and shit like that. You know, Trump
Yeah, I
sold
was going to ask
steaks.
if you think he is a just a character propped up for us.
Well, what was it? I forget who has the quote. Was it Albert Pike that says, "We'll get when they need a
Give them
hero,
a
we'll give
hero.
them a
Yeah.
hero." Yeah.
Yep.
Um, yeah. Um, I think I do think there's a little bit of that. It's really tough to see. You know, one of the things that doesn't get mentioned was when Trump was in office, I believe on two separate occasions, his food tasters were poisoned.
Wow.
And they didn't bring that up. But when he was in office, the two of his people, that's why he always goes to he tries to go to random restaurants and usually goes to fast food. So people are like, oh, dude, he's always eating McDonald's and da because, dude, he can just pop in any McDonald's and know his food ain't going to be poisoned, you know? And they send him out to like different locations and stuff. So they don't even know. Besides the point, though, there's been other attempts on his life. You know what I mean? A lot of me is like, dude, they shot at Trump. You know, there's multiple shooters, an inside job. Then there's a lot I'm looking at and I was like, dude, was this staged? You know what I mean?
So
On
many
his end.
layers.
I don't, yeah. And again, as we were saying earlier, they throw out so much stuff to make us go back and forth and da 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 da. But I think the thing that really, when it comes to Trump and stuff, is like, dude, it seems like all of the eggs are in one basket with him, you know. And if that is the case, let's just say it is red and blue, black and white. There's no weirdness going on as far as being a staged or inside job. Let's just say everything is legit. People tried to take him out. I mean, if he is the one dude and they took him out, you know, we're fucked, you know, like because who else is going to come in and actually do stuff to like push for the country? I mean, I don't see anybody that's doing. I mean, the immigration. You guys, are you in Chicago?
Yeah.
Right? Are you seeing the effects of the immigrants coming in? Because I live in Vegas, and let me tell you, dude, the amount of Mexican people that you don't normally see, you see everywhere. In you know, from the taco stands to the food trucks to the selling the stuff, like it's everywhere now. When it used to not be here, but over since Biden's been in, it's gone through the roof, and they're not legal. They're the like the businesses that they're running and stuff. They're just setting up stands literally in front of other restaurants, CVS, Walgreens. They're like, bam, they're doing their thing. They only do it at night when you know what I mean? But they got all this stuff going. This was never here before. You know, that's because there's an influx of people trying to just do whatever the fuck they can, you know, while they're here. But what I'm getting at is like that wasn't the thing that wasn't happening with Trump. You know what I mean? As far as immigration and stuff, it truly was the lowest in our country's history. You know, um, it's the exact opposite now. So again, if all the eggs are in one basket, and it's got to, you know, if there's going to be any change, man, it really it has to happen on the local level. You know, I tell everybody, oh, this is all good, but you guys keep voting in the same school superintendent. You know, you guys keep voting in the same assemblyman and all these people who actually have more to do with your lives. You know, I mean, there was
100%.
a there was this asshole here in Vegas who was like, "Oh, you got to wear your mask, got to do a shot, you can't go out, social distancing." And then, like a day later, he's doing a bar crawl with people, all drunk, hugging and making out with dudes or whatever. Like you know, not making out, but you know, they're kissing cheeks and shit. And it was like, oh, okay, you can see the work here. Do as I say, not as I do, type deal. And this dude, this has been a local politician gone unchecked forever. You know what I mean? It was like, dude, get him out. Obviously, this guy is being told to do something and it's not for the people, you know. But um I don't know though. You know, as far as as far as you know, the presidency and all that stuff, dude, um whoever's willing to go up against the system, like the true powers that be. I mean, fuck, man, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen if like a civil war breaks out? A lot of I got all these like right wing friends like, oh dude, we got our guns, they're sissies, da 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 da, and all stuff. And I was like, bro, they are bringing in military aged men from China, Africa, Latin America, from Muslim countries. They're just funneling in, dude, every day. What you're thinking it's some purple haired lefty who's all about down with the patriarchy, and you know what I mean, like, no dude, I mean, look what's going on in Britain right now.
Well,
These
what
dudes
I've
are
been saying,
getting
I've been,
stabbed,
oh
hacked at
yeah,
with machetes and shit, dude. you
it's just
know
the perfect storm for the elites because then they can get people, divided over an issue. They can bring in people from cultures that are going to cause chaos to the culture that they're entering. And then at the same time, if they do give all these handouts and like they claim everyone is being racist, so you can almost like oppress the people who are just trying to push back against, I guess, protecting their way of life in a way. So that
yeah.
you're causing division, you're causing duress, and then the people who are coming in and getting handouts will much more easily than obey the
Su-
orders. Yeah, exactly.
Support the system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're getting handouts, they're getting accommodations. So they're like, all right, we gave you a house, we gave you all this. We're looking out for you, protecting you from the racist like natives. Now just follow our new rules that we're
so
going to implement.
so we've been having the Democrats push to have illegals to be able to vote in our
Yep,
elections.
yep. And then they'll
Local,
give them
local
military
infant,
service or something for the right to vote.
right? What do you where do you think the civil? It's not a civil war; it's a takeover. But if that happens, they get these guys in. Who do you think our military is to not? They're not to turn on the American people, right? They're supposed to protect the American people. They're supposed to actually go against orders of those type things. How many would? Who knows? I mean, I think they asked the military one time would they turn on the American people, and like it was like a resounding like 93% said 100% no, not at all, they never. Then there was like a 3% they said yeah, and then there was like another whatever the percentage was of it said I don't know. So you just have to lump those two together, saying this amount of people will fucking turn on their own country, their own people, you know? And now you get all these people in, these military people, like you said, who just coming in. Now they just want all the benefits and shit. Fuck yeah, they'll mow us down because we're threatening their little meal plate, when
Yep.
they're coming in, there's part of it. But then look at this though. Again, Democrats been screaming and saying that the Russians and they manipulated the election and da da da. That's how Trump got in. It's all Russian collusion and all this shit. In the same motherfucking breath, they want to say, "Oh, illegals should be able to vote in our elections." So if that's the case, then uh, you're saying that it's okay for these Russians to come in and vote legally in our elections because they're legal, or they can come in over. So that doesn't make sense. It's like, oh, we just had these guys just commit this fraud, but then it's okay if they come over and vote anyways. But then if you look at it, if they were to give them the ability to vote, I think they said all they need is like with the voting population stuff, all they need is when it comes to the Democrats, 50 million of them in there to be able to vote. Republicans would never win, or no other party would ever win a race ever again because they would be able to stack the tables. And that's what they're trying to do. You know, I mean, it's right in front of our eyes. I mean, it's happening in front of us. And it's, again, they come at you and they say, oh, you're racist, you're xenophobic, you're this, that, and the other thing for opposing this, or even point it out. And it's like, no, dude, this is how, places get overthrown and taken over. And you're like, when people look at, oh, how did that happen? Well, here's how it's happening. You know, it's just like everybody. Oh, how if I was around, I wouldn't let anybody kill a Jew. I'd kill Hitler, right? And then at the same time, like, put on your fucking mask,
I
take
know.
your shot,
It's
you're killing
hilarious.
grandma. You know what I mean? It's like that's how they did it. They got you all fucked. You're not even thinking for yourself. You know? Now we have people, they're just churning them out of college. Fucking brains are cooked.
Oh man,
Terrible.
You know what I mean? Cooked.
for real though.
Horrible.
Cooked. I mean, they don't even know male from female. You know what I mean? They're arguing about that. Dude, and then they come
It's
and say, they're like,
classic.
did they say black people are too dumb to get an ID so they can go and vote? They don't have a computer. They don't know what the internet is. They say this shit.
They're
And they're
trying
Mhm.
so
coming right
hard
out
to
of
not be
college.
racist that they're extremely racist. That's
Yeah,
funny as
dude.
fuck.
They're Mr. Magoo to their own racism, you know?
If you
And
have to try to not be racist, you're racist. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like that's just the way it is.
And I'm not saying anything, but let me tell you, one of the most fucking disgusting things to see in this world is just to me personally, I cannot stand people with white guilt. I can't
it's cringe.
stand it.
It's so cringe.
Me too.
It
Yep.
is so fucking gross because one, first off, I guarantee none of them ever had their families ever owned slaves. I mean, that was such a minute portion of the population, but just to take something like that and to just to denigrate yourself and just to put yourself to, oh, and to think that it's a way to be virtuous, you know. I mean, it truly, and it goes with every race, but to give it a name, the white guilt thing is just it's the most cringe thing to watch, dude. I mean, it's cuckold porn.
100%.
You know what I
Literally
mean? It's
my
straight
thoughts
cuck
exactly.
porn, dude. It's brutal. So, not my deal,
Funny as
but
fuck. This has been a
what's that?
blast, bro. I said that's funny as fuck.
Oh yeah, dude, I appreciate you guys having me on and let me ramble and
We'd love to have you
you
back on too.
Yeah, see, we do good with no plan. We just shoot from the hip sometimes. It works out.
right on, dude. If you're comfortable with it. If next time I'll load up some charts on the
Oh, we could get more specific next time, but this was great.
Yeah,
I'll break
definitely,
out the
bro.
flat earth map.
Let's go. Are you a flat earther? Closing question.
I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna say yeah. I tried to debunk it, and I keep coming up with everything all comes from the same source when it comes to the globe Earth. But you
For
look
real.
everywhere else, there's stuff from all over that says the other. So, um, one thing I flat Earth and all that stuff where I really have concern or curiosity with is Antarctica. I think I think there's something down there that is life changing.
Yeah, no
Do you,
doubt.
That's
do you think Antarctica is an ice wall, or do you think it's in the center?
um I think it's an ice wall. I think we're in a
Okay.
lake. I think we're in
Mm.
a like I think we're in a well, I don't want to say I think we're in a lake, but it makes sense when you look at it and when you look at like that map that shows you all the different lands, all the different things. And what's funny too is when you look at all that shit, there's a Mars, there's a Jupiter, there's a all this different stuff that's supposedly outside of Hyperborea or whatever we're at,
Yeah.
this type thing. Um, I I don't doubt it. There was a time when there's people who were actually uh, able to explore. We can't go down there,
No.
and sure as fuck it isn't for our safety.
Right.
Right, I can go buy a
You
pack
know
of
what I mean?
cigarettes
Like,
right now.
you know what I mean? They're like, oh no, it's not safe for you. Oh really? You're concerned about my safety? Okay,
What a joke.
but man, but there's so much. I like the hollow earth. The flat earth tends to make more sense to me when you look at it. I mean, just look at flights, you look at flight patterns, you look at, it goes off a flat earth map. And when you look at it, like all the way they have uh, all the fiber optic cables for our internet connection and stuff like that, they tell us it's from satellites and shit, but it's all cables that run under the ocean, and then on a globe you'd have to have these long ones going all over, but on a flat Earth map they're ping, right there. So I don't know. I've had people, you know, disown me for just questioning it when I was,
Right.
questioning it. Now I'm just like, well, if that's the way you act about it, then if that's your reaction, your gut reaction, instead of being curious, then makes me think that I'm doing the right thing. you know, but
Definitely. We could go flat earth deep dive. We've yet to do one on this channel in depth. So something we could definitely do
hey,
in the future.
I'm still a novice. I'm not on that Eddie Bravo level, but
Yeah, we would love to get
you
him.
know, yeah, yeah, that dude knows a lot. What's crazy too? It blows my mind, man, on how much like these guys like him and Sam and just other dudes, how much they information that they know and they process, uh, and they're able to absorb and where they get it and stuff, and at the same time, you know, still do run their lives, run their businesses, create. I mean, fuck, man. I got a family of three, and I'm doing my thing, and I try to put every ounce into creativity and learning and shit. Scroll,
Yeah.
scroll.
It
That's
gets
where it
harder
all
when you get
goes,
older
man.
too, you know.
Yeah, man. I mean, shit. You got to learn so much. I'm surprised I got this rig up and going for this. No, now it's all plug and play. But guys, I just want to say thank you. This was great. I I hope to be on again soon.
Absolutely. Had a
No doubt.
blast. Thank you for coming, bro.
You bet. I was gonna say if I can give my handles, if you
Yeah.
guys anyone
Oh
wants to
yeah.
Drop
find
Where
it
can
me,
all
everybody
stuff
find you?
on.
Yeah.
at Trez Mala on Instagram, and I'm under Trevor Trez Mala on Facebook, or you can find me on ThinkStopper, one word, ThinkStopper, on Facebook as well. But yeah, those are just my handles right there. If anybody wants to find me, follow me. I'm always talking shit.
Definitely be sure to check that out. And thanks again, brother.
You bet, guys. I appreciate it, and keep up the good work too, man.
Yeah.
Because the
We
more
will stay in touch.
conversations that are out there, the more times people's brains start working.
100%.
Right?
Yeah. Thanks,
All
man.
right,
Take it
guys.
easy.
Thank you. Peace.
Later.